name is. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is.
Yo, what it is. Once again, it's your boy, Cypher Da MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs, back with you once again. You know, it's coming up on a new week, a new day, and I just missed you guys so much. I missed you guys from last week. If no one told you that they missed you, just know, the MC missed you, okay? All right? Welcome to the Into the Cypher podcast. As you know, we're here, we're looking at relationships, we're looking at seeing where we are. There's my background music. My DJ is on point today. He's on point, which is good. Seeing where we are today, taking a look at self first, see where we can improve as we are on this journey. And I say we because I'm on this journey with you to be the very best, to be the best version of ourselves. So you know what today's topic is. We're going to get right into it. But first and foremost, we got to get our disclaimers out the way. As you know, this is part of the show. If you're new, definitely drop a mic on the like button. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're new to the podcast, definitely download it. It's coming every week to you. And here are our disclaimers. I am not a relationship expert.
Nope.
I am not a sex therapist. I'm not a family therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I don't have any masters or doctorates on my wall from Harvard. I am just a regular Joe Schmo.
Yep.
Just a regular guy giving you the benefit of his opinions and perspectives, being an observer of human nature, just to see where we can get to that place where we have that balance once again as the creator intended. All right, said my spiel. All right then. So I got some information for you guys. As you know, I like to make sure that I keep my audience in tuned, with tidbits and even if the bits aren't tid, I definitely want to make sure that I get you guys right and provide some information for you guys. So I got a snippet here of a YouTube video by Anna from an article that she wrote on wingman.com. Not wingman, but wingman with an M.com. Of course, as always, I'm going to leave the link in the description so you can definitely check it out. Read the full article for yourself. But basically, the article is basically why don't women accept accountability in relationships? Dun, dun, dun. And she did note that this is not PC, so, I appreciate her honesty, and I definitely appreciate her being forthwith with this. So, and basically she gives us 5 reasons why women don't accept responsibility in relationships. And I'm just going to give you just those 5, and then that way you kind of pretty much just have that. Take notes and things of that nature. So, number 5. I'm going to start from number 5 because it just seems to be a little bit better that way. Number 5. So number 5, she calls them SJWs. SJWs, social justice warriors, also known as suckers like Steve, Stuart, Sebastian, whatever name starts with an S. And no offense if your name is Steve or Sebastian or Stuart. She just kind of had a whole S type of thing going on here. But basically, these are the individuals that kind of make excuses and give passes to those women that don't accept any responsibility or hold themselves accountable in relationships or anything such as that. It's kind of like they're just kind of, allowing it to try to get in good with her, but oftentimes are denied. They're not the type that the woman would actually go for, but they're trying to kind of placate them and supposedly support them. Basically, they have ulterior motives. So that's number 5. Number 4, as to the 5 reasons why women don't accept responsibility in relationships is that survival, like basic instinct, but not like the movie, you know? So she didn't really go too much into detail there. But that's number 4. Number 3 is single mom syndrome, sad but true. And this is basically just the fact, single mom, she just, she has to do a lot of things by herself and take care of a lot of the roles that would normally be divided between men and women, or mother and father. But sadly, she has to do this on her, do it herself. And to a certain degree, in a relationship, there's not accepting a certain responsibility when it comes in the relationship due to this syndrome that Anna describes. Number 2, social media. Basically it's kind of just that. Social media, has definitely played a part in kind of allowing a lot of what a small portion of women think to reach a larger audience. So now you have this, that mindset out there that responsibility, I don't need to have responsibility in a relationship or any type of accountability. And the number one reason as to why women don't accept responsibility in relationships, society, aka social conditioning, aka feminism. Top 5. That is what we're talking about today. And look, I realize that I wanted to make sure that what is heard is coming from her. So it's not, oh my gosh, he's just another guy spewing this or that. He hates women. He's this guy. I don't consider myself a hater of women. I love women. Women are awesome. My mother's a woman. So is my sister. But I wanted to make sure that a woman's voice is heard. So I'm going to play a snippet from the video, from the YouTube video. Again, I'm going to leave the link for that as well, so you can definitely check it out. But definitely check it out and let me know your thoughts.
That goes along with that is that, like I said, we need to start letting women know where they've contributed in ways that are not working for them ultimately in relationships with men. Because the thing is if women don't start taking accountability and ownership of what they're doing, then it's not going to change. Relationships are not going to improve, and there's going to be more and more single moms and single women and single men, because men are not putting up with this anymore, and they're going their own way. And there's all these other, philosophies and factions that are the result of women's bad behavior. Sorry, ladies, I'm a woman, but once you actually understand this, you realize the truth of it, and you realize that we actually have a lot of power in society in where we are actually taking relationships. And right now, we're not taking them in a positive direction, which means that men need to actually tell women.
Wow. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
So there you have it. In her own words, basically her thoughts as far as how she feels that, where women are not taking accountability or taking that necessary responsibility, and just kind of, for the most part, brushing it aside. Like it really doesn't work. Listen, there was an article that I came across. I'm not going to go too much into detail or too much into it, but for the most part, the writer of the article, the author, says, well, his ex-fiance, right? She, I don't know, had anger issues or something, to whereas one evening she knocked something over. It was a vase that his grandmother had given him, and it broke, as most vases do when they're falling from a great height. I think it was on a mantle of some sort. She was going towards the room and it broke. So evidently she didn't hear it, or I don't know how you could not hear it, but she swear that she didn't hear it. And it upset him that, okay, that she knocked it down, pretended to not hear it, and then just kind of just kept walking. So he was like, yo, you knocked over my vase and everything had broke and everything. She was like, no, I didn't. So immediately right then and there, she said, no, I didn't. Okay, he said, well, I understand that you didn't see it fall, but you surely should have heard it fall and to know that something was wrong. And he says that she just went into a livid tantrum at him, calling him all sorts of names, like why would you even put it so close to the mantle where it could fall and break and things of that nature? It's your fault. It's not my fault. Why am I always getting blamed, or why are men always blaming women for things? And I was like, wow. And even he was like, wow, that's crazy. Guys, hey, I know you've been watching the video. You're loving it, right? Thumbs up, likes, subscribe. You'll get back to it when I get you back to the video. Anyway, I wanted to quickly tell you about the company that I've partnered with called Credit Rent Boost. Pretty much allows you to basically have your rent that you pay monthly. Doesn't matter if it's an apartment, house, townhome, castle with a moat, if you have one, if you're rich like that, whatever. But guess what? You can actually have that reported to the credit bureaus as positive credit history that you're paying. So why not get credit for what you're already paying, right? Go to creditrentboost.com, and not only can you get credit moving forward for what you're paying for rent, little known secret here, for the past 2 years, you can get credit. So you can get credit for rent that you paid last year, the year before that, from 2020, right? So why not give them a chance? You can use my promotion code OVM24522, or better yet, I'll leave the link in the description box below. Might be the best thing you ever do. Now, get back to the video. Smash the like. Men always want to blame women for this and for that and this and for that. And it was like, wow, that's crazy. She could not accept the fact that she had done something wrong. And, she was, in his opinion, the typical modern woman who was very, aggressive minded in her thinking. She was, empowered and very independent. So for some women, they can't do any wrong when they are in this mindset, when they have this mindset that, I should be treated a certain way because of how strong I am. Now, I, as a man, I appreciate how strong a woman can be. I appreciate the fact that you are living to the fullest of your potential. But what I would not do, and I don't feel that a woman should do either, is use that as a reason to kind of, be not held accountable for their actions. And that's pretty much what accountability is. Good old Webster says the definition of accountability is the obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. Now, accountability and responsibility are two totally different things, of course. Accountability is the obligation or willingness, meaning that if if I have on my white shoes, and everyone knows you got to be careful when you have on your white shoes, especially if they're Jordans. You got your white J's out, and someone steps on my foot, they can apologize, but if they just say, oh, why is your foot there? Your foot should not be on the ground. Wait, what? It's called gravity. Have you ever thought of possibly starting your own podcast? Well, I can tell you firsthand it can feel overwhelming if you don't know where to get started, and that's where Buzzsprout comes in. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch a professional podcast, already helping over 100,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout will get your podcast into every major podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You also will get a great looking podcasting website and so much more. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you and helps support our show. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast. Like, wait a minute, gravity is a thing still, right? 9.8 meters per second, it's still there, right? It's still there, I believe so. But to accept that responsibility, the willingness to say, yo, I did not know that, what I did or my actions that I took had that consequence of making you feel the way that you felt. I apologize. I want to acknowledge that I did hurt you in whatever way that I hurt you. That seems to be what's missing in a lot of the relationships today between men and women. I mean, let's be honest. Men, social media and basically just society as a whole, due to the mixed messages and things of that nature, many modern men often lack a clear, effective way of dealing with or communicating with, the so-called modern woman of today. Not without being lashed out at as far as, oh, you're misogynistic, you're trying to still hold women down, or you're sexist, or you need to be canceled, you're this and you're that, you're gaslighting, you're a love bomber, you're all of these terms that is like, oh my gosh. Because it's kind of funny how, or ironic, not funny, but ironic that most women may want a traditional man, but they also want a modern man as well. They want him to be strong, but yet sensitive and communicate his feelings, but not too much. They don't want us to, say what's on our mind too much, because then the light shines on them and what they're doing and what they're saying and how it actually affects those around them. So what oftentimes is missed is, well, darling, the other day when you said this, it made me feel this way. She's going to look at him as in a traditional man mindset. Well, I was just playing. Why are you being so sensitive? Get over it. It wasn't that serious. Now, if a man were to say those exact same things to a woman, he would be looked at as uncaring, selfish, heartless. He's only thinking about himself. He doesn't understand how to communicate, things of that nature. Because remember what we talked about not too long ago. Communication has to be effective and it has to be consistent. So a lot of communication definitely has to occur. I would say definitely at the onset of any relationship, any getting to know each other, just first coffee, Alicia Keys and Mos Def, have a cup of coffee together, take a walk in the park, find a water fountain, sit down, have a talk and things of that nature. All this sliding in the DMs and the next minute, 3 dates later, we're in a full-on relationship because, oh my gosh, we had sex one time. Now it's like, where do we go from here? Like, wait a minute, things are confused now. We have to take into account that men and women have, to a certain degree, they both have within them the ability to say, you know what, let's stem away from what society thinks. Let's stem away from what, the quote-unquote status quo is. But it's hard. Society is now social media. They're almost interchangeable in my mind. Again, that's just my opinion. They're interchangeable. Whether on a macro or a micro level, society has been integrated into our lives in such a way that much of what we get bombarded with, much of what we get influenced by is through social media. You know, it's not CNN, it's not Fox News, it's not all that sort of stuff and things. It's social media. It's by influencers. And for the most part, a lot of these, you know, influencers who are women, their main audience are the next generation of women. So when one generation influences the next generation to have the same mindset as far as, to think of yourself as a queen or this, that, and the third or whatever, and that you should be treated as such, but there's no direction at the same time, then you're going to fall into the same traps, the same ideology, pretty much. That how can I be held accountable for my actions? I'm a woman. And if we're holding women accountable, then all of a sudden, what? No, we're not treading on your, we're not treading on your womanhood. We're not, saying that you're less than a woman simply because you made a mistake. We're saying that you're human. Humans make mistakes. But as a woman, why would it seem harder for you to do something that is automatically assumed that a man should do, and that is be held accountable? If a man messes up, if he just makes a bad decision, bad judgment, make a bad poor choice or whatever, he's automatically, well, you need to do this. You need to apologize. It's expected of him. But if the proverbial shoe is on the other foot, why would it not be expected for a woman to do the exact same thing? Why is there that lack of commitment or obligation or willingness, according to Webster, he's a pretty smart guy, to do the very same thing and take that accountability and say, you know what? I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm not going to dismiss your feelings. Only then, when conversations like this can occur, can men and women get to that balance that is so sorely needed. And guys, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, understand, next week we're going to be talking about double standards. Oh yeah, it's a goodie. Don't forget also, after each episode that comes out on Sunday, 8 p.m. Facebook Live, we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about any and everything. You can let me know your thoughts, all that good stuff. And as always, before you love anyone else, you must first love yourself. And I am out this thing.
I will not lose.
Cypher.
Let me tell you dudes what I do to protect this. Shoot at you actors like movie directors.